Hi, everybody. It's Elisa, and today I am introducing you to my friend Tina. Tina is a mom of five and lives just outside, well, a little more outside of Denver, Colorado. And we're going to talk about what's going on with them because they too are also off right now. Hey, Tina, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing so great. Thanks for having me.
So, can you tell everybody a little bit about your family and about Noelle?
Yes. So, like you said, I have five kiddos. We're a blended family. So, my husband and I met when Noelle was two. So, I had Noelle, and then he had Lily and Landon. They were 2 and 4. And so I became the mom of three kids overnight, basically. And Noelle is diagnosed with muscular dystrophy. So she was diagnosed at 5 months. And when Dustin and I met, she already was on a ventilator. She was actually on TPN at the time. She had oxygen. Basically, she had all the medical stuff you could possibly think of all at once. So when Dustin came into Noelle's life, he definitely chose this life and chose wholeheartedly to take her on and all of her extra equipment. And then we've had Bo and Macy together. So Bo is 4 and Macy is 6. And that is our big happy family.
So, your youngest is 4 and your oldest is now.
Is almost 15. She'll be 15 in just a couple weeks.
All right. So, Tina, we got connected because of an amazing conference that we both went to in the States. But you share so much sunshine, I would say, and smiles. And you have become quite the TikTok fun. You do the best videos. Talk a little bit about what we share because Noelle is also one of those stars on those videos. So, what is it that you guys are sharing?
Yeah, so I unknowingly kind of stumbled upon TikTok. I actually started whenever I would get Noelle up in the morning, I would do a little dance with her as I was getting her up, and I started sharing that on my Instagram just to have, something that I did every day, some content. And somebody told me, you should really be on TikTok. And I'm like, what do you mean TikTok? What is this TikTok? Because I was never on Snapchat, or I didn't do that. I think Snapchat and TikTok are kind of on the similar side, and I didn't do that. So I was like, what is this TikTok thing? So I decided to hop on. And early on, I actually, like anybody else, was like, how do you even do this? So I went to YouTube and I started to figure out that, like, oh, TikTok actually has benefits for your message or your business or whatever it is that you're trying to bring awareness to. So early on, I started thinking of TikTok as a platform to grow the message of disability inclusion. So even though my beginning videos were really just fun, and of course I love it because I'm a silly, creative person, and it definitely speaks to that side of my personality. It's also super easy to do, the 15 seconds to a minute. So it was like, okay, I got this, I can do it. And then I slowly started to share some of my content. And before long, I just started making more videos, and we actually just started getting more and more people to watch our videos. And I noticed the more videos that Noelle's a part of, the more views we get, because obviously
Mm.
people don't often see somebody like Noelle, and she's kind of, different and all those things. And that's actually exactly what I'm trying to teach. I'm trying to teach that.
Well, because Noelle is just so people, Noelle is still in a wheelchair and she has a ventilator.
Yes.
And you guys are so wonderful about how you share her message. She has you can tell her spunk, and you get to see also like she dances with you, and she's a little sarcastic too, right? Like I've seen some
She
of her,
has
like she's a little sarcastic, right?
She is. She has the driest sense of humor ever. And that's one thing that I love, when people can see that, because she also, on top of everything else, she has a paralyzed vocal cord. So she's super quiet. And so a lot of people miss out on what she's saying and what she has to say. And so this has been a really awesome opportunity for her to be able to, move beyond that and to start talking. The coolest thing is that people from her school are finding her now, and they're
Oh,
finding her on
nice.
TikTok. These kids who have, looked at her from a distance and wondered and had questions, but were never able to really ask her, are now actually learning about her. And one thing we've started to do is we go live in the afternoon on TikTok because we're really bored. It's like the boringest part of our day. But we hop on there, and then it's a place where people can ask questions without feeling awkward or out feeling judged. I always say, like, please don't think you're going to offend us. Questions do not offend us. In public, it's the stares without anybody asking us things. That's what's offensive. But on TikTok, it's this safe place where people can start to ask things, and without fear of judgment. And they've been able to learn so much about Noelle, and she absolutely loves it. I mean, she definitely gets energy as we're talking. And again, that dry sense of humor comes out. The funny things about her come out, and it's been such an awesome opportunity for her to express herself.
And to share, yeah. So we were talking, all right. So you guys also, you have 5 kids at home right now, which I know for us is quite a change. And we don't have 5, we have 2. We have 2 dogs, which I feel add to make it feel. But you guys have 5 kids right now. They're not in school. What are you doing for your day? How's that going?
So our day, we actually have been in quarantine longer than most people because I chose to stop life sooner. I just had this innate feeling that I thought things were going to get pretty bad, and there was no way that I could protect Noelle. She's in a wheelchair, and so her wheels go through the floor of the school and all that. And then also, if I continue to let my other kids out of the house, they would be bringing the germs back. I mean, she's highly susceptible to, getting the virus, and she's already on a ventilator. So I kind of made that decision the week before. And then the schools finally kind of started to catch on. Well, we had a week of pre-spring break and then a week of spring break. So we've literally only had school, materials for about a week. But the first week before anybody was even in quarantine, I made up something called Camp No Co, which was for Camp No Coronavirus, so Camp No Co. And, I tried to make it as fun as possible, knowing that this isn't something that's normal, and also knowing that it's going to continue. And so that was my first, so I tried to really make it fun. And then granted, as time has gone on, there's been times when it's wearing and it's not always so fun. But now that
Yes.
we have school, we try to do that in the morning. I'm not a huge stickler for making sure we stick to every single schedule. I'm not a scheduler. I'm a 7 on the Enneagram, which is like, I'm an enthusiast. So if something's fun,
That's so you.
I know, I'm like, let's go do the fun thing. Knowing though that I do need, I appreciate the educational materials to continue to stimulate my children's brains, but I am in no way worried about this impacting my kindergartner and where she's going to be next year. Because guess what? Like, we're all, this is something that we're all going through, and it's going to impact us no matter what. Like, there's going to be an impact. And if we were worried so much about, what she's going to be doing in first grade next year, like, that's not my main worry. I'm more worried that I'm not letting her play on a screen the whole entire day.
Absolutely.
Let's at least continue to make sure she's learning some things. But I mean, for me, I think, like, even as the human race, like, we are all going to be impacted by this. Like, it's going to change everything. And so to be so focused on something that may not be, that detail that may not even matter in 4 months, like, I'm trying to not do that. I'm trying to just enjoy our time and enjoy our day. And the one day she was supposed to, get on a call to Zoom in with her teacher to read a story. Now, is that beneficial for her? Absolutely. But she's like, Mom, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, well, you don't have to. Like, it's okay. You don't have to sit in front of, because I'm like her, where I appreciate having screen time. I appreciate the Zoom calls and I appreciate the connection, but it also doesn't feel like true connection. And so I'm not going to force her to be a part of something that maybe she's not feeling that day. I'm like, and instead I would much rather, if my kids are being imaginative and being creative and doing anything, there is no way I'm going to call them in from, running around outside barefoot to come and do something on a screen. There's just absolutely no way. But if they're, begging to be on technology, well, great. Then I have, all these amazing resources from your teachers. Let's get on, and let's do this. And now when it comes to Noelle, obviously her education is different. She just in January started an intensive needs program, which is something that she probably should have been in all along. I finally advocated enough to get that for her, and she was doing so great in it. She does so great with the one-on-one. Her special ed teacher gives her a hard time. She's kind of got that same sense of humor and
Mm-hmm.
personality. And so she was really thriving with that. And now it's definitely hard because I see a lot of that progress she was making now has been taken back. She has a para that she talks to on the phone, and she's kind of helping her work through her work. Again, though, it's not ideal. That's not how Noelle would
No.
love to learn. She likes that, that interaction and that back and forth. So that's been a little bit of a struggle, and I don't know what I'm going to do moving forward in that. I need to kind of think of, is this serving her or is it not? And I get to choose. Like, just because this is a part of her IEP, or just because this is what her school is offering, doesn't mean that I need to take it and do it just because they're telling me. I really need to focus on what's going to be best for her right now, and what is her personality, what does she need right now. Maybe it's only one day of that para support, and then the rest of the days it looks different. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think that this is an excellent time that people will be reevaluating, not just families, people, companies. Everyone's going to be reevaluating. We are so used to being so busy, and also that feeling you have to say yes to everything.
Mm-hmm.
What do we need to say yes to? What is necessary? Because I know that we're actually as much as this is not the reason that we wanted to be slowing down, but this feels in a lot of ways the way we've done it as a family, the way when we hop in our car in the trailer and we go on a big road trip. Like, we're getting to decompress a lot as a family. I miss some of our activities. I miss the stuff that is missing or that aren't doing, and I know there's a good reason for it. But at the same time, what do we actually need? How much do we need to keep busy? I know we've been decluttering, we've been going through, and we're just taking the time to like put some stuff away. We're doing a lot of life skills. We painted windows today. We did some Easter windows, the whole family. If you look on my Instagram story, I like did like, a whole painter's tape, the green tape, and we did stained glass, and Andy was so mad at us that we made him, but then at the same time, he was like mad, but then he was also perfectly like making very focused on his section, but then was trying to change color. He would look at us and be like, nah, I'm so mad. And then you'd give a new one. He's like, okay, fine, but I really have to. And then like, so I'm like, you're just protesting to protest right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been doing baking and cooking, and it's kind of been nice. We've gotten quiet time to read together. We learned that Andy likes to play dominoes. That's never been something that he's played with us before, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's
We've
kind
been doing too. I feel like the word for it is like reevaluating,
of,
right? We've
yes.
been able to reevaluate so many things, right? We've been able to reevaluate school and work and home life. And I'm with you. Like, we came off of a season of high school basketball, middle school wrestling, this concert and this and that, and just all the things. And even though I'm a person who loves a lot of activities and I love to do things, I don't love the having to do it because somebody else says I have to. Like, that's part of my personality. I'm like, oh, you tell me I have to, well, maybe I'm not going to. But
Now I don't want to.
yeah, I know. But I've enjoyed that too. I've enjoyed this season of, I don't have to do things because other people are telling me to. Like, I get to choose to do things. And I feel like, I hope we can keep that as we move out of this season, whenever that is, that we can keep that perspective of, wait, this is my life and this is my family. And I am the one who gets to decide what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. And there's been some days when I've literally had the best day ever. I'm like, wow, I didn't expect, like you said, in this season of, it's hard and there's crazy things going on, and there's people who have it a lot worse than we do right now, and yet there's been days where it's been my favorite day I've had in who knows how long, because I just got to focus on family. One night, so we live on about 10 acres of land, and we have a dirt bike track because my
Nice.
husband, me, the other kids, we all ride dirt bikes. Noelle actually has a track wheelchair, so she gets to participate too. Yeah,
Awesome.
it's amazing. It's like a little skidster. But so it had rained and it was muddy. It was cold out. I didn't really want to go
This
outside.
is your mud fight, isn't it?
Yes, it
I
is.
saw the pictures of your mud fight.
Yeah, when I like, because I have something where I have really bad circulation at times, and so my fingers actually go numb, and so I really didn't want to go outside because that was kind of like flaring up, and I just didn't want to. But then finally I decided, okay, fine, I'll go outside. And so we were walking around, and my husband jokingly was throwing mud at my daughter. And then he turned to throw it at me. And instead of moving, I just let it hit me. And it was like, that's what broke open the mud fight. Everybody looked like, oh, Mom just got hit with, like, we can do this. Mom got hit with mud. And so then we ended up having a full out mud fight. And Noelle wasn't with us at the time. She was inside with her nurse, but it was just like, that was amazing. And it was just so fun. And we didn't have to worry about the mud. You know what I mean? It was mud. And I think my kids will remember that. That'll probably be a memory that they have for so long. And it's just like, yeah, so what can we do? Like, we may have mud, but can we like have fun in the mud anyway? And that's just kind of my perspective on any of this. Is like, sure, there's a lot of things out of our control and that we may not have chosen, but I like to say, like, find the rainbows in the middle of the rain,
Absolutely.
because they're
Well,
there.
and I mean, like, we both know, and like you said, you quarantine your family sooner than what your city decided to, and it's for very serious reasons. You know more than anybody what it means to be medically fragile as far as your children and being care of that. And so it doesn't take away the seriousness of what's going on, and we're not undermining it. We know it's there. We know it's for a reason, and we don't question that. But it doesn't mean that we have to get wrapped up in the stress and the anxiety of it. We both have those moments at different times. I mean, it's scary, and you have so many loved ones you're worried about, but you can also have fun. I know yesterday we decided, the four of us, my husband had to work on night shift, and so the four of us decided to have a hot tub in the middle of the afternoon before dinner, and he had to go to work. Like, just silly little things. We painted the window. Like, you just have to, like you said, have those sunshines, have those rainbows, and just enjoy and give yourself a break. I love the fact that you said, now, poor teacher, I hope she knew that she wasn't showing up on Zoom. But I love the fact that you were like, I'm going to give myself a break on what's expected. And really, the reality is, it's 3 months of school that they're going to be missing out on. And I feel the most for our grade 12s that are supposed to go off to post-secondary schooling, that I think that's probably the most stressful, because that's a big year, and that's when everyone moves away. Everyone else, you stay local still, you move on. Everyone in the class is going to be in the same position next year. I saw a meme that was joking, saying, I can't wait, feel bad for all the teachers next year. And the kids are saying, well, my mom didn't teach it to me that way.
Yeah, totally.
Right? But yeah, I know our goal right now is just a little bit of reading, a little bit of math every day. Not about learning new things, just about maybe not being too rusty. But at the same time, Saturday and Sunday, we took the day off. Like, it was the weekend.
Yeah, totally. Well, and like you said about the seriousness of it, I mean, it does hit close to home. Even more for me, I have actually started to save every single piece of medical equipment that Noelle has. Things that we used to, we would have just, thrown away. But I'm like, wait a minute, there's, ventilators that there's just going to be so many more people using them, and the equipment and all of that. So of course, in 3 months from now, there's not going to be the equipment that we need, that she needs to live on. And so I'm like, I need to save everything and clean it and make sure we just keep on to it. And that's not something that's typically, something I would think of, but I'm like, that's serious. Like, I know that I need to prepare for that. I know that I need to think, like I said, in 3 months from now, there may not be the things that she needs for something that she's lived on for 10 years, even as simple as she uses a suction machine, like a suction canister. It's like a little plastic jar. they're in every room in every hospital, but the thing is they've never been used in every room in every hospital, and now they could
Absolutely.
be. And so I'm like, so those are things that do go through my mind. Like there is the reality that I do face in this. But like you said, I also get to focus on the joy, and I get to focus on the good things. And what I keep telling my family, because I know that we're going to probably be quarantined longer than anybody else, I keep saying, yeah, but best case scenario is being in our house until August. Like that's best case.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
let's start looking at that as best case and not being like, oh, we're going to be stuck. Oh, till August. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, no, no, no. That's best case. If we get to stay home for the next, whatever, 3 months, and we get to be together and all of that, and we're not facing a hospital stay and we're not facing any of us getting it and all that, that's best case scenario. And I'm going to focus on that as opposed to focusing on all the, the hardships of just staying home. I
Well,
mean,
and it's a privilege to be able to stay in our homes and to
yes.
stay protected and to take care of our families. My husband is still working right now, and we just do our best, but it's a privilege.
Yes.
And we are fortunate that we have the space. We're fortunate we have a large yard if the kids need to go outside, and that we can still go on some bike rides. And it's a privilege. And
Yeah.
I was even trying to explain to my daughter that if this had happened, so she's 10, if this had happened when mommy and daddy were little, no FaceTime.
Yeah.
It's not a thing. Like, you would not see a friend or talk to a friend again, because not until it was done. Like, you would have been at home. This technology and this ability that we can still be reaching out to each other, still be in touch with each other, still be connected, that you and I can talk like this and actually see each other, and you're in Denver and I'm west of Toronto. Like,
Yeah.
those are big deals. We're really fortunate. You know, we're lucky. There's a lot of
Yeah.
technology that gets to support us, because we need that. Because I'll tell you, my husband doesn't want to only talk to me for this.
Oh, I know. And I've lived the life with Noelle where I was isolated, I was socially distanced, all of that in a hospital because that's where she had to be. When she got her trach at 13 months old, I was in the hospital for 4 months straight alone with her.
Yeah.
And then, and then the next several years of her life, we were in and out of the hospital. And I know what that looks like and how hard that is on a family. And she's been in ICU when, nobody could visit her and all these things. And so that's where I'm like, my goal in all of this is to stay home and to stay as far away from, a hospitalization as possible
Yes.
and appreciate what we have. And like you said, we still have moments, and it's okay to feel frustrated and to feel sad and lonely and all these things. I was just feeling it this morning, even before I hopped on this call. And it's okay to feel that, but then what? Then you need to do something to get out of it, because it's not gonna serve you. It's not gonna change anything. But like, it's okay. We don't have to deny that we're feeling those things. We don't have to deny
No,
that.
definitely. I feel like the moment you start denying it or pretending like it never happens, that's when it actually becomes overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you also have a choice of how much you lean into it. So, quite years ago during 9/11, I was a flight attendant, and I was, grounded. I was at the airport, and then we were on the ground for 5 days straight. But we were told that any time the skies could open up, we had to be ready. So we had to sit in our house because cell phones sucked. So, but I remember I watched CNN for 5 days straight, right? And then we went back up in the air, and I brought survivors home. And the thing is during those 5 days, I had such tunnel vision, and all I watched was CNN. And that's all I let into my brain. And for a full year after that, I had major side effects. It definitely was an episode of like post-traumatic stress and nightmares and dreams and my emotional state. And I'm so conscious of what I fill my mind with and what I reset on, that I limit how much news I'm watching. I watch what I need to know, so I'm informed, because I feel that's really important. But then I fill my brain with a podcast or a book, or laughing and tickling on the couch with the kids, or painting windows, or like, you have to shift what you do. It
Yes.
can't just be that, because this is not a short time. We're in for a
Mm-hmm.
long time. And how
Yeah.
fortunate we are that we live in a time that this is happening, because if you look at previous generations, they had much bigger things that were even scarier that they had to deal with.
Yeah. And what I like to say in that too is that I like to reframe it, right? Like I like to reframe, like you said, you let in what you need to and you see it, and then you can reframe and focus on what you need to focus on. And I compare it to like taking a picture, right? Like, well, it's an old picture or like a camera, you actually have the viewfinder. It's like you're looking through that and, you know, maybe you're trying to take a picture of a person and a beautiful sunset, but then there's something distracting behind them. Well, you're just going to shift what you look at. You're going to shift
Mm.
and reframe it. Did it change the circumstance? Is that object still there? You know, is the circumstance still the same? Absolutely. But you shift your focus. And so it's like you can let the things in and you can be informed, and then you can reframe it and you can refocus on what you need to focus on in order to survive and thrive yourself. And I think that each one of us has the power to do that, that we can, the circumstances aren't changing, but we can reframe them and we can focus on the things we need to in order to still have a beautiful picture, even when things may not be beautiful. And sometimes some of the most beautiful pictures are taken in the worst set of circumstances. And
Oh,
I like to focus
absolutely.
on that. Is like,
Yeah.
what beautiful pictures can we take and can we come up with in these really not great circumstances?
And this is why I love your attitude, Tina. This is why we're meant to be friends. Tina, thank you so much today. I will be sharing with everyone in the description where to find you on social media so they can get more of your sunshine. I really appreciate you coming on. And I hope you and your family continue to stay safe, have fun, and perhaps another mud fight.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It was so great talking with you. I appreciate it.
Okay.